Good day sa inyong lahat.
Good day, yes.
We are very happy to be back at nakikita mo naman ang suot namin, happy colors talaga.
Yeah.
We are back from our season break.
After 1 month na nawala si Wise Cash Ace, we're back
Oo nga
finally.
After 1 month, Floyd, tignan mo naman, mukhang tayo, lumalaki tayo. Napakain lang po kami.
Nag-gym.
Ikaw
din ba?
Nag-gym din ako.
Yeah.
Nag-gym. Sa kusina.
Kamusta? Kamusta Ace? How's the 1 month na wala tayo?
1 month,
ano
I've
nangyari?
been focusing on school and other businesses that I'm doing. And, yun nga, medyo napakain tayo sa stress. Napansin mo naman.
Bagay
pero,
naman.
Yeah, thank you. Ikaw rin bagay rin sa'yo.
I know. Wearing pink, the guy in pink. Yes.
Tama yan. Tough guys wear pink.
Tough guys wear pink.
Sabi nga nila.
Yeah. Actually, Ace, ako naman, nung 1 month na nawala tayo, we've been focusing on financial literacy events ng ating community.
Yeah.
So, we went to some communities, for example, dun sa Recto, mga mommies dyan. Then, we went to Taguig. We taught them about paano maghawak ng pera ng tama, about saving.
Yeah.
So, dyan tayo nag-focus for the past 1 month. And of course, nag-research tayo kung sino ba yung mga batikang speakers na dapat nating i-guess for the second half ng ating season 1.
That is true. Me also am getting a lot of inquiries din na, Ace, kailan ba babalik ang Wise Cash? Kasi nakikita ko na parang napaka-exciting ng mga next topics nyo. And this topic talaga got the most votes when we gave a poll to the community na ano kaya magandang topics na i-discuss natin for the next part. Siyempre, tapos na tayo sa initial ladder of investing natin, and then sinabi natin sa kanila na, okay, after this, what do you think are more interesting topics that we can cover?
And na-surprise tayo that we saw na ang nag-number 1 na we thought people will hindi yan yung eye-catchy for them, pero yun yung nag-number 1 Which is, ano yung topic natin for today?
Foreclosures.
Wow.
Yan. And just a bit of about foreclosures. Me kasi, I got interested in foreclosures at an early age.
Yeah.
Sabi ko nga, I read this book by Robert Kiyosaki 5 years ago,
Uy,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then, may mga nababanggit siya doon na parang, making money in foreclosures is not really that difficult. But, not a lot of people know how it works.
Tama.
Yeah.
Ako naman yung sa side ko, Ace, na narinig ko yung foreclosures when my friends from Singapore halos sabay-sabay kasi kaming nag-resign overseas. And I heard sila bumili ng buildings. Imagine, buildings ang binibili.
Buildings, yaman.
Bibili ng buildings and then renovate yung building. They just do a down payment tapos ginagawa nilang rented na yung buildings.
Yeah.
Yung mga, parang dorm type yung ginagawa nila and commercial slots dun sa baba. Which is very, very ideal. Or actually, parang isipin mo, parang imposible for age like sa atin na magkakaroon ng ganong kalaking building.
Buildings.
Tapos, malalaman mo, they bought it from a foreclosed property na investment. So, very interesting yung topic natin for today.
Yan. It really takes a special eye para ma-spot or malaman yung mga foreclosed properties na yan. Let alone, saan ba sila makukuha? Saan sila makikita?
Prime location. Yan yung important The location, the value, yan. To which, yan yung matututunan natin from our idol guest for today.
Sabi ko nga, sinasabi ko, hinahype ko na sa Wise Cash Facebook group na he's one of the best in the Philippines in terms of foreclosures. If not the best, he's one of the best talaga. And idol ko talaga ito. 5 years ago, sabi ko, I hope I get introduced to a mentor who will teach me how foreclosures work. And I'm very happy to introduce to you right now the President and CEO of Property Forum Philippines, Mr. Noli Alleje.
Wow.
Yan. Tignan mo naman ang shirt ni Sir, foreclosed. Talaga namang living up to the to the topic tonight. Yan.
Great day to everyone then.
Very bagets si Sir. Energetic pa talaga siya. Yan.
Actually, idol natin si Sir Noli. When, nung eto nalaman ko about him sa Facebook. Imagine, Facebook niya tinatap yung market. Some of his clients nanggagaling from Facebook, sir, no?
A lot of them, yes.
A lot of them, Sir, just to get things started, For the people who have an idea about foreclosures but not really clear to them what foreclosures are, can you give us po an idea? Ano ba yung foreclosures? Saan ba siya nakikita?
Yes.
Why do foreclosures happen?
Okay.
Ayan.
Well, basically, foreclosure is a real estate asset that was mortgaged by the borrower. So before you borrow money from a bank, the bank will tell you, ano ba yung nalagay mo sa mesa na katapat ng utang mo. Normally, it's a real estate asset. And if they don't pay on time, it goes through 1 month, it becomes 2 months, and the third month, you become a non-performing loan.
Yeah.
And then the foreclosure proceeding starts.
This is like the collateral that
That's
they
collateral,
put.
yes.
And then when they don't pay the loan, it gets foreclosed. It
That's
gets possessed
correct.
by the
Yes,
bank
yes, that's
again.
correct, yes.
Yeah.
So, yan yung mga utang yung mga hindi nabayaran ng utang nung mga ibang bumili ng mga properties and then nung hindi nila kinaya, tinake over ng bank. Tama, sir, no?
Tama
Diba?
yun. Yes, oo. No? So, dati kasi, yung value kasi ng foreclosed asset, o yung collateral pala, yung value of collateral was 80% of the loanable value. Then they get 60% pa from that.
Okay.
No? So, they get 80% of the appraised value and 60% of the 80, they come up to be with the loanable value. Kaya normally, kung collateral mo 100, ang value ng loan mo, mga 40 lang yan or 50. Ganun lang, small. No? So, when it gets foreclosed, their book value of the bank is very low. So after you're not able to pay your bank loan, it becomes a foreclosed asset, and then it goes through a certificate of sale with the sheriff. Pina-public auction muna yan sa sheriff. No? And then the bank ends up with it, and then the pricing starts already. Normally, he prices it at the book value of the bank or market value, whichever is higher.
Okay.
So kaya some of the properties you'll see in the foreclosed asset, you look at it first and say, oh, market value naman yan ah. So ano diferensya?
Yeah.
Actually, you can negotiate. Because once you find out the book value or what was it loaned for, the amount, normally the bank only has to protect that amount not the profit because they're not in the business of real estate.
Parang palengke pala yan, sir, no? Pwedeng tumawad.
Yes, pwede naman. Basta justified yung tawad mo. Kasi yung iba, pag nasasabi mong foreclosed asset yan, parang nag-bid sila, 20% ng value. Di naman gano'n.
Siyempre, hindi bibigay ng bangko yan.
bibigay ng
Malulugi siya
bangko,
na.
no? So they say, ay, taas ang presyo. No, you really have to make himas. You have to give your bid to the bank. If it's not on an auction, then you give a price bid to the bank and the bank will negotiate and say, medyo mababa masyado yan. Pwede ba taas mo ng konti? And the negotiation goes on. There are some banks naman, they're snobbish, they just say, sorry, take away your proposal. It's too low. So, it depends on the bank you're dealing with. No?
Yeah. But for example, sir, no, for the people who are interested na rin talaga, me kasi I'm starting, I have a vague idea, basic idea about foreclosures, but I don't know really how to start.
Okay.
So, ano po kayang mga advice natin sa mga viewers
Sa nagsisimula
natin?
pa lang.
Yeah.
Yung gustong kumita from foreclosure.
From foreclosures.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people say investing in foreclosures is very easy.
Yeah.
But it's very meticulous. Because remember, you're buying a dirty asset. I call it dirty asset because it's been once owned. Hindi naman siya brand new. No? So, may mga problema lahat yan. So, you have to know first is the history of the property. Saan galing yan? Sino ba yung former owner? Mabait ba siya? Hindi ba siya mabait? Some of the properties, you actually have to go and inspect.
Okay.
Never buy a foreclosed asset without looking because maganda ang presyo.
Yeah.
Makita mo, uy, ang ganda ng presyo
It's
ng house and lot
tempting.
nito.
Oo.
50% off. O, kasi yung bahay, 50% na rin. Nawala.
Oh, yeah.
Wala nang bubong,
Wala nang
wala nang
bubong.
gate. Okay.
Normally, they really get the bakal-bakal. Or sometimes the former owner is angry. He breaks the inodoro. He cuts the wires up there. Meron silang ginagawa din. No? Kaya very important, step 1 talaga is physical inspection of the property before you even decide to buy.
So, ibig sabihin, sir, hindi lahat ng tao or may-ari ng foreclosed property madali mong mabibili, madali mong malilipatan because may mga cases ka na nakakaaway yung mga property
parang
owners.
may mga
Yes.
cases na.
Actually, if you will take a look at it, some of the properties there, you will see meron silang tinatawag na with possession,
Yeah.
which means the bank is already in possession. But it doesn't mean that the title is clean. So you still have to review the title. Meron naman dyan without possession. Ibig sabihin, pwede merong squatter dyan, andyan yung former owner, andyan yung kamag-anak ng former owner, andyan yung tenant ng former owner. Marami siyang mga styles of postponing the possession of the bank. No? Some of them file a case, they put a restraining order on the certificate of sale, no? So, napapahaba yung 1-year redemption period, no? They have many strategies to former owners. So, you have to know is, mabait ba sila? Umalis ba sila na mababait? Yung ano, no? So,
how do you get that information, sir? Do you get that from the bank?
No, you don't get that from the bank. You get that from actually physically visiting the property. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, morning, no night. Kasi you really have to go look at it. Remember, this is not an investment that you can jump in and jump out just like that. Okay. Remember, it's an investment that you pump in, you either hold it, you lease it, diba? You flip it, diba? Pero wala yung sasabi mo na quick money. Well, in some instances there were. There was one instance we made over 600% in 1 month.
Yeah.
Small kita. We're very familiar with the property area, the location, the value of the property. Yeah, when we bought the property, wala pang 3 weeks na benta namin. So nag 10% down kami, and then we made money almost times 10 of the investment.
Wow.
So there are instances, but it does not happen every day, remember that.
So may risk din pala siya.
Lahat naman may risk, di ba? But if you study it properly, then you minimize your risk. In anything naman, di ba? Knowledge minimizes risk, di ba?
Yeah.
So this is more research. Remember, the banks have thousands of properties.
Yes.
They cannot visit it every day. We once auctioned the property on Saturday. Friday night, the buyer went there, the bidder looked at it, the house was there, bid the property on Saturday morning. Sunday, he visited the property, the whole house was gone.
How did that happen? In a day?
In a day? They can really make a house disappear in a day.
Totoo.
Yung mga demolition, yung mga buy and sell houses, those are demolition, we pay you. They can take out the house in 1 day.
So, before pala talaga you start, you really have to research.
Yes.
You have to inspect physically to see the property. Para yung bumibili ka ng mahal na sapatos. Babalik-balikan mo yan. Magre-research ka. Anong mga reviews.
Parang dapat meron kang karakteristik ng isang babae. Tama? Pag bumibili ka sapatos, sinusukat mo muna.
Siya ba talaga? Parang hindi ko naman yata siya kasundo.
Pipili ka pa ng isa. Ganun siya, no?
Tama. Talaga to si Floyd. Babae.
Sir, may question ako. Kung magsisimula ako, magkano ang required or magkano yung pinaka-pwede kong kapital to start in this kind of business, in foreclosed properties?
Okay, it depends on how you wanna approach it. There are some banks kasi that require you to give a full payment. So, let's say for example, you're buying a property worth 1 million. So, magbibigay ka dyan ng buong 1 million. No? Especially if you're dealing with a special asset purpose vehicle, yung mga SPAV. No? Walang in-house financing yan. No? May mga bangko naman na pwede ka mag 10% down and then 20% to possess. So, you put 10% down, you look at the property, you fix it a little, tapos pag ready ka na, magdagdag ka ng 10%, pwede. So, at 100,000 pesos can actually buy you a property worth 1 million. Ano ba? Basta, ang tinatanong ko palagi sa'yo is, how much are you ready to down and how much can you afford monthly? Yun ang importante yung monthly, di ba?
Yeah.
A lot of people just show it, may 100,000 ako. Pero yung monthly nila, kailangan ma-compute yun. Kaya mo ba yan?
Okay.
Diba?
So, hindi rin basta-basta ka papasok, no?
Yeah.
Kasi dapat nakakompute yung the rest of the payment terms na kailangan.
Also, the different banks have different terms.
Yes, and different interest rates and different requirements.
Different properties also have different terms.
Yes.
Depende kung...
Sometimes in the same subdivision, they even have different prices. Kasi they try to protect their book value and their own formulas.
Okay.
So, medyo matrabaho pala talaga to, sir. You have to research, you have to physically inspect. What if, for example, the property I'm interested in is in Iloilo? It's very difficult for me to fly there. Will there be, meron po bang mga special companies, agencies that can help me?
Actually, our company, we pride ourselves on having the largest network in the Philippines. Like if you want to buy a property in Apari up north or Zamboanga down south or middle Iloilo, Bacolod, we have people there who can actually give you a portfolio of 5 or 10 properties you're looking for, no?
Yeah.
And then you can actually receive pictures from us and then you shortlist. So if you're really interested in it, then you go. I'll give you an example. After my seminar in Singapore, we got a lot of inquiries from your group from Singapore, no? And a lot of them wanted apartments. And they saw from one bank a 1.8 million property in Valenzuela. Really, still, no?
Yes.
4 units, di ba?
Pwede.
Anytime, bayaran mo kagad, di ba? So we sent our inspector there. There was a water line of almost half the house. The stairs was rickety, about to fall. In other words, it wasn't worth even 1 million anymore. No? So, ganun dapat ang approach nyo pala. We can actually hold your hands through the media right now.
Okay yung sa service kasi na ginagawa nyo. Aside from you educate your students or yung mini-mentor nyo, you also give customer service to the possible clients and also yung mga gusto lang matuto about this kind of properties, which is helpful for starters like me, newbies like us.
Yeah, that's correct. Because we don't want anybody to get stuck with a bad. It's really a bad asset. You get stuck with another bad assets. No? Especially like for me, my choice is I would say the more basura it is, the more I like it. Yun. Kaya tawag sa akin, di ba, aside from El Subastahero, they call me El Basurero.
El Basurero.
Kasi the dirtier the asset is, the more I like to invest in it.
Why? Are dirtier assets parang cheaper ba yung mga yan?
Yes, they are. And as long as you know how to fix it, as long as you know how to clean it, then you're ahead. You know, like we bought properties for as low as maybe 60-70% discount. And we told them, kami nang bahala sa squatter, kami nang bahala sa legal case, kami nang bahala magpaalis, yung ganun. We take care of the property as is where it is. And the banks naman, as long as they protect their book value, they go ahead.
Well, speaking of that, sir, no, parang nabanggit nyo sa akin kanina, ano ba yung mga essentials? Say, checklist, for example, I want this property. So, ano ba yung mga checklist na dapat kong tignan dyan? Dapat ba, sige, I will physically inspect, I will research. Ano pa bang mga government documents na kailangan kong makita or accomplish?
In the first level of physical inspection, but you have to remember that you are actually possessing something that has been used by other people already. So there has to be, you have to research. Some people just buy a foreclosed house, they forget about the kuryente and the water. Remember that the kuryente and the water is to the house, not to the former owner. So it is charged to the house. So when you buy that house, may kuryente yan, unpaid, saka may tubig na unpaid. So you have to find out all of this. Unpaid taxes and everything. Again, like you just said, government regulations. You have to see that they've complied with it. You have a high-rise, you have a 4-story building in a subdivision. You buy it, pala walang permit. You know, kaya pala na foreclose, you have to know the history.
Where do you get all these information?
Research.
Research talaga.
Yes. For example, you buy an old subdivision. If you buy an old subdivision, you have to go to HLURB, see if anybody filed a complaint against the developer. Di ba? Even if you buy in a condominium unit, you have to look at HLURB to see if somebody complained about his unit or the other units in that development itself.
For lands, this is the LRA.
No, for LRA, those are the titles. The register of deeds.
Titles. Okay.
You can do if your amount that you're investing in is very big, you do a title traceback. Title traceback means you go all the way for the original owners pa. Yung original certificate of title pa siya. Para ma-trace mo kung may
yung history of the house.
Yes.
Sir, I have another question. Ano yung mga worst case ng foreclosed property na na-encounter mo? Let's say, meron bang naging time na may nakaaway ka? May mga time ba na ayaw umalis dun sa property? Curious ako.
May mga squatters sometimes na...
Actually, until today, we have a lot of properties that we've invested in that still have their former owner there inside. Hindi pa rin sila nawawala.
Talaga?
Andun pa rin sila, no? And we're very patient. We just pray that one day they'll get tired. And it worked. In some of the other former owners, they left, no? The other one was story that I really mentioned about, no? Was we foreclosed the house, you know, and then we waited for a year or 2 years, and finally, ang tagal na magbayad, you know, so we got a sheriff, asked him to writ of possession the person, issue writ of possession, and when after 7 days, they're given 7 days to vacate. On the 7th day we went there, the house was missing na. He took the whole house with him. Okay, so and there were some cases where we lost naman, no? Some properties natalo kami sa kaso. What you have to watch out for is what they call the cancellation of mortgage. Kasi cancellation of foreclosure, the way I see it, you just have to foreclose again. Diba? Kasi baka nagkamali lang sila ng matter of foreclosure. But yung cancellation of mortgage, ang ibig sabihin nun, walang utang.
Yeah.
So pag nanalo siya walang utang, wala ka nang habulin.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no? So this is a teacher to watch out for. No? Kami natamaan kami third party claim. Well, me and the former owner were quarreling in court. The other person filed another case somewhere else and he won because that property was actually his already, even before the person mortgaged it.
So ano nangyari sa...
Tado kami.
So wala na yung
Wala na
pera?
yun, yeah.
Okay.
So you win some, you lose some,
Yeah.
So you the calculated lists naman na you don't get wiped out.
Sir, speaking of talo, sa foreclosed property ba, affected kayo pag halimbawa may mga real estate bubble? Just like what happened in the US kasi, nagkaroon ng real estate bubble and then most of the realty properties dun, after the bubble, bumaba talaga yung prices. Kaya nga, actually, dyan sumikat si Robert Kiyosaki after the bubble. How about in foreclosures?
Okay.
In the Philippines, yes.
For us in our industry, the foreclosure industry, the more bubbles, the better for us.
Okay.
Kind of mean to say that. But really, that's when the industry really picks up. But we always tell the coming years to come, walang bubble yan.
Okay.
There'll be a slowdown. There'll be a slowdown. And you see it coming in already. Dadami yung foreclosure, no question about it. A lot of distressed assets will come.
Yeah.
The Bangko Sentral is really watching out very closely. In fact, they're already beginning to increase the points for the scorecard for each borrower before anybody could borrow. Basta
Pero
may
parang the
kailangan.
banks ngayon are more relaxed sa paglulong.
No, but BSP is coming in already. They've actually segregated already the developers' loans and the retail loans. Kasi sa retail sila worried. Yung developer kasi in the 90s when we had this real estate collapse, the developers during that time were the ones borrowing money from the debt market. Today, the real estate developers are equity funded.
Okay.
You see, yung advantage namin ngayon sa industry. So they're strong. But what might be weak are the borrowers, the end user. So that's what they're watching out for. In fact, the 80-20, 20% equity, 80% debt rule, tinatanggal nila ngayon yan, bumabalik na sila ngayon sa 40-60.
Okay.
So the Bank Central is really watching. And because of that, there's going to be a slowdown, which is good for us. Hindi siya mag-overheat.
Yeah.
Supply and demand will balance and then pick up siya ulit.
Okay, so real estate bubble, foreclose is still a good investment vehicle.
Yes.
Without real estate bubble, still okay.
Yes. So
Yeah.
they will come in trickles naman. Actually, if you go look at the banks now, you see some of the developments in the late 2000, 2010, 2009, nandun na siya sa ngayon. Nasa foreclosed items na ng bangko. Wow, kita mo brand new eh.
Yeah, that's what I like about foreclosures also. Parang regardless of the condition of the economy, it's a good investment. That's what Kiyosaki also
Mag-i-invest ka na
told
niyan,
me.
Luis.
I'm interested nga rin. But me also po, I'm interested. This is a question of my friend, si Kan Tejada. Hello, Kan. Ang sabi po niya is, how do you come up with a base price? From, syempre, medyo dirty ang property natin. So, how do you come up with the base price of this foreclosed property and then yung selling price niya after?
Okay. Basically, the banks, after foreclosure, they have what they call their book value. This is the amount of money they lent out for that property, plus all the friction costs in transferring the property to their name. And then, as the years go by, is the amount that's being put in for maintenance costs and everything.
Okay.
So that would be what they call their book value. Don't go below book value. Yung para sa kanila, never go below book value in your offer. Pero yung market value, they get that from the neighborhood. Appraisal value, they have in-house appraisers, and they get third-party appraisers. When we go through an auction, we actually request the banks to give us all their properties. We inspect all their properties, and then we come up with a value, which is below actually their listed values.
Okay.
May listed value yung mga kinukuha mo sa bangko, di ba? Sa mga branches, gano'n, no? You can go there, just ask for a list, no? When we do an auction, we get the list from the banks, the head office, and we evaluate each and every asset because we can compare it from one bank to another bank.
Matrabaho yun, ah.
Medyo matrabaho yun. That's why I'm lucky I have my partners nationwide who also help us.
Yeah, this is from the Property Forum.
That's correct.
The Property Forum ni
Sir,
sila.
I have a question from one of the members ng ating community in the Global Philippine Investors, from Nasir Makapanas. Sabi niya, ano daw ang key takeaways for an investor to consider that a certain foreclosed property is actually a good deal? Kasi raw may mga na-realize siya na...
Parang checklist or
Yeah.
parang the main
Yes,
characteristics of
Okay,
a good property.
it's always the environment, the area.
Okay.
You know, for example, there are some subdivisions that are very, very hot. No? So, kita mo kaagad na you can flip it right away. Like for example, I was telling you about the property where we made 600% return. No?
Yeah.
We're familiar with the subdivision. We know it's hot in demand. No?
Yeah.
And there were 5 houses there at that time. So the flip there was very quick. We knew the property, they used good materials. Kaya nung in-offer namin sa market, ang bilis namin ng take-up. No? Rentals, for example, you have to see there's migration inside because there's negative migration and positive migration. You have to look at job growth. If you buy a condominium for rentals, may jobs ba dyan? May tao bang gumagalaw dyan?
Yeah.
For example, if you look at SLEX, the ones on the left are negative migration. The ones on the right are positive migration.
Yeah.
So if you buy on the left, don't expect to rent it out in 1 month. But if you buy on the right, for example, Makati Central, around properties around Legazpi Village and Salcedo Village, very high in demand, very fast take-up also. So you to study is the environment, the market. That's the important one.
External examination din pala talaga
so,
siya.
Like for example, all my most of my rentals are always fully booked. You know, all my units because I buy them at let's say 30-40% lower than market value. So if someone's renting out this unit at 15,000 and getting 7%, I rent out mine in 10,000 and I get 10% or 12% pa. Return. Kasi mas mababa ang bili ko.
Yeah,
Daming
yeah.
So I can play right away.
Daming passive
Daming
income
passive income ni
talaga.
Hindi pa
Oo.
naman. Baka may nakikinig dyan.
Sir, nabanggit mo kanina, no? I think this will be one of their last points na rin. Yung auctions. I'm interested
Yeah.
kasi how do I get to participate sa auctions?
Oo, tama.
Okay.
Saan ba nakikita yung auctions na yan? Ganyan.
Normally, you can, if you have banks, friends in the banks, you can ask when's their next auction. No? The auction market now is not very wild as it was 10 years ago. Medyo nag-simmer down ng konti. There's like 4 or 5 banks who are still actively doing auctions on their own already. No? One of my biggest clients is PNB. We have 12 auctions really in the next few months. No? And they do it nationwide. Per region every other Saturday. No? And you just have to go to the bank, Normally, print ad pa rin sila eh. No, they're not too much in the media, Still in the print ads, you have to buy the regular newspapers, just make bantay. And when you see an auction, normally nakalista na itong properties doon, mag-choose ka, call the bank, ask for the documents, do your research, and on auction day, you go there, and you bring at least, ang show money dyan, 25,000 pesos normally.
Yeah.
No? You ask what the payment terms are, when's the down payment. You have to know all of this because of your cash flow, no?
Yeah.
A lot of people would always ask me, Noli, what's the market segmentation in an auction? No? You see, there's no market segmentation in an auction. We actually have bid out 40,000 peso property in Baluyboy, Quezon. That's like 2 hours away from Lucena pa, up in the mountains. And we bid out a 130 million property warehouse in Sheridan in a 150 million old building in Chinatown. And everybody's in the same room.
Yeah.
Walang
oo.
mayaman, walang mahirap. Everybody has their 25,000. You look out the window, you see stainless jeeps. You see people walking, nagpasahe lang sila. And then you see the flashy cars, the SUVs. And they're all in one room. So there's no market segmentation when it comes to foreclosure. Everybody's after the deal or getting the property at a very good value.
Wow. Ako na-excite ako mag-participate sa isang auction. I've never been in one, but I'm interested also kasi parang there's fun in bidding.
Yes.
But yung property that is on auction, yung pinapa-auction na property, how do I know na bibilin ko na yan agad? How do I know if magbibid ako for it?
Yeah.
It depends on your want. Diba? Pagka love mo na yung property, alam mo maganda ang deal dyan.
Yeah.
Nakapag-research na.
Pag-research.
Kasi you research it pala.
Actually, in an auction kasi, the most important is what happens before. Not during the day itself.
Yeah.
But what's very important is when you're in the auction itself, don't get carried away.
That's
A lot
true.
of people get carried away with the, 1 million, 1
Nag-e-enjoy
million,
sila.
100,000, 1 million, 200,000, 1 million, 300,000. Ganun sila, di ba?
So-
Then they go home and say, gosh, what did I do?
Yeah.
So, may ganyan ka bang case? Parang may nakwento ka sa akin eh. Na may ganyan kang case eh.
Actually, it was so funny because when we were putting up the numbers, the video or the screen was showing that the property was worth 1,250,000. There was a sign outside the house, 1,200,000. We were already at 1.5.
Whoa!
You know, and they were still bidding, 1.5, 1,500,000, 1,600,000. And they were still bringing it up. And everybody could see that the property was only worth 1,250,000. So nadala sa excitement sila.
So would you recommend participating in an auction?
Oh, yes. Yes. I would advise talaga to join an auction.
Pero
It's very
before,
exciting.
Yes. Before they join, dapat they already know what to buy.
They do their research.
They already do their research.
Yes. Actually, in our auctions in Property Forum, we do not allow people to bid if they have not inspected the property, stepped on it, or spoke to my area partner.
Yeah.
Because I know what's going to happen. Come Monday, they're going to back out.
Yeah.
Kasi they saw the price, di ba? 1,800,000 4-bedroom house. That's what was listed when the house was foreclosed. But as the years went by, the anay, they remember the banks are not property people. So they cannot take care of all the property, especially the ones far out in the province.
Yeah.
Although I can say they have professionalized a lot of their systems from where they came from. They've improved a lot already.
For example, sir, can we call, for example, I'm Mia, I'll call Property Forum. Property Forum, I'm interested in this property in Abra. Can you help me and, maybe fix some documents for me? And what can Property Forum offer the people interested in foreclosures?
Okay. You can call up our office. I think the number is somewhere there. And you can actually look for Ruth Molon or Nancy Zamora, and they'll gladly help you. They can guide you. They can tell you, for example, you're only looking at one bank. We can show you what all the other banks also have. And we normally come up with history and where to buy. What's the developments in that subdivision? What's the developments in that area? We try to keep up to date. So we want to give this as a service to our investors.
How about for people naman po na, interested, oh, Sir Noli, I have this very good property. I want to know what your recommendation is. How can they contact you?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're having a seminar, oh?
Yes, okay.
Actually, feeling ko kasi maraming mabibitin, sir, sa episode natin for today. Kasi ang dami-dami pang questions. In fact, nag-post ako, marami pa tayong questions na nakalinya, but we cannot answer them all. But I know that you can answer through the forum that you'll be having.
Yes. Actually, we have a seminar, Make Millions in Foreclosures. That's on December 6th, this December 6th, 1:30 to 5:30 p.m. It's going to be at the SMS Conference Center, SM Aura, in Taguig City. For registrations, you can call up 696-6981 or 570-7506.
Okay. Sir, how much is the seminar for everyone interested?
Well, the early bird is going for 2,000 pesos plus VAT. But the regular fee is 2,500 pesos.
Not bad, sir. Kasi eto nga na binibigay mo sa amin learnings, just 30 minutes of your time. Dami namin natutunan. What more kung more than an hour yung ibibigay mong lessons? I guess, sir, ano yung pwede nila matutunan from this
Actually,
seminar?
I'm not an educant, So hindi siya naka-format talaga, You will learn everything that I've gone through in foreclosures.
Experiential.
Yeah. Remember, we've sold over 4,000 properties, foreclosed assets in the last 7 or 8 years, worth over 8 billion pesos. We've also invested in a big foreclosure of a portfolio of a savings bank. We bought the whole portfolio. So this is the things that I'll be imparting here are all experience.
Experience.
Yes. Hindi siya libro, hindi siya 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll tell you my stories, where we succeeded, where we failed, what you should do, what you should not do, and you can pick it up from there. It's a storytelling time.
Wow.
Nice. I would love to join that seminar.
If you're an OFW, pauwi ng Pilipinas, December, uwihan niyo ng mga kasama nating OFW. If you're an employee aiming to have a business in foreclosed property, join this seminar because you will learn a lot. Ako, dami ko talaga natutunan. Actually, nag-uusap kami ni Ace. Sabi niya, after this show episode, sir, will, one-on-one kayo to. Sasali ako, So, papa-mentor yata
Speaking of the seminar, sabi nga nila, the best investment that earns the best interest is investment in knowledge.
Yes.
So yan, we encourage everyone to attend Sir Noli Alleje seminar, Make Millions in Foreclosures. That's on December 6, 1:30 to 5:30 in SMX Aura. Ayan. So, before we end, sir, all of our guests, we teach them the wise cash sign.
Tama.
So, ganito po yan. Wise, cash. Okay, so sabay-sabay tayo magpaalam there.
Is it 3 fingers, 2 fingers?
That's 2 fingers.
2 fingers,
yeah,
okay.
2 fingers. Okay, sabay-sabay tayo magpaalam there. Thank you so much for another great episode of Wise Cash, and we hope to see you again next time. So, goodbye and see you again. Wise Cash!
Bye!
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.